Hi Cancer, welcome to January 2025. This is more a Mars reading for you. So Mars retrogrades back into Cancer, or has retrograded back into Cancer as of yesterday. There is a lot of love in the air. Even if you're feeling lonely, the past brings memories of romantic, celebratory times, times that made you feel complete. It's a time where it's easy to meet people if you feel like going outside. Venus is in fellow water sign Pisces, which also gives you a boost in terms of luck. And even if you are outside meeting people, the vibe is all about bringing you back somewhere. Maybe you meet someone very reminiscent of a past love. Maybe memories of a past love are playing on you. Sometimes our memories are so perfect and nothing like the actual past. There's some highly romanticized version of what we wish was happening back then. So be careful with the nostalgia. But insofar as you're feeling romantic, the nostalgia's fine. Just don't make it about somebody else. Just, have it be about you. You're very approachable. You're open to the idea of being with someone or getting deeper into it with someone. You're by no means ready, if you're single, to settle down all of a sudden, but you are in a celebratory mood when it comes to love. Mars gives you that energy. It's fun to be reminded of the past in a way that makes you feel powerful, makes you feel like, yeah, I remember that feeling. I remember feeling that good, or feeling that loved, or that safe, or all three. This also will apply to your looks and how you're feeling about your looks, but we'll talk more about that when we talk about health. The thing about Mars in Cancer that you really have to focus on is that it's a time to evaluate. It's a time to figure out how you really feel. And if you make it too much about a romanticized past, it won't be about how you feel. It will inevitably turn into a discussion about somebody else. Because that's just how we love. It's not your fault. But this particular meditation on love that Cancer, if you're a Cancer rising in your first house, if you're a Cancer sun, Mars now coming up against your natal sun, it demands that this be about you. How do you feel in the context of your past? How do you feel now in your present? Mars is, it's concerned with number one. And what it looks like here, the things that are on your mind, that Hierophant, speaking of financial security, but also tradition. But also the Hierophant is the one that judges you. that makes the decision if you are to be part of the willing and accepted or the profane. There is, to me, it feels like there's a secret value judgment thing going on with you. And sure, Mars in Cancer can be a very sharp sword if you allow it. But when I say this has to be about you, I fear that we may take this the wrong way and make this about criticizing ourselves. And if we can't view our past through a romanticized lens, perhaps then that means we turn the knives on ourselves. And neither of those are a good option. Perhaps they're both equally as destructive too, if you stop to think about it. No, this has to be just about you and not about tearing yourself down. Really just checking in with yourself. How do you actually feel, Cancer? About what? About everything? About life? About yourself? About the concept of love? About the world? About your body? How do you feel? How much have you managed to drown that question out? How many times have you walked sideways out of that conversation? How many different times since this summer have you had to say some version of the truth because you couldn't tell the whole truth about how you really feel? Or maybe, and this might be the most accurate, maybe you're not used to answering that question unless it's in the context of other people and their needs and your past with them, or what you think you are obligated to do for them. If you take all of those layers away, how do you feel? If you can't judge yourself for how you feel, how do you feel? If it won't end up being your fault and you won't get in trouble for it later, how do you feel? It's a big question, and from the 8th to the 28th, you'll have Mercury in Capricorn across from you. Okay, so Mars in your sign and Mercury in Capricorn, and it will ask you this question again and again. And every time you start to stray towards another way out, so you can talk about how somebody else feels, what they need, what you need to do for them, Mars will be there to hold your feet to the fire and say, no, this is about you. Forget that other person. Forget the past memory you made where they're perfect and you fucked it up, or some version of that. Forget all of that. What's going on now? And when you finally get around to answering that question, I think you'll realize something. I think you'll realize that the way to really honor yourself right now is to keep that question ever present and center yourself and stay centered in yourself. Ironically, it's a great energy to be in to meet somebody. If you're in the market for that, you would think, okay, I'm centering on myself and I'm constantly going to check in with myself and ask, how do I feel? You would think that that would make you self-involved, maybe unattractive, maybe just, in yourself too much. You wouldn't be putting out the right energy to meet someone. In fact, it's a very attractive energy. And if you can be true to yourself and be kind to yourself and still go out and do things with people and have it be fun, you really should. There are going to be some very pleasant surprises for you if you venture out of the house. It's cold, well, not everywhere. You know, if you're in the southern hemisphere, definitely. Cancerians down under, go out, have some fun. Kick back with some people that you really love and trust, but do it somewhere public where you can, you know, also interact with others, where you can see people, they can see you. It's a very healthy time for you to be outside with people that you feel safe with, and people that have always known how to center you, and who in their own ways have always pulled you back from wrapping your life around somebody else. Right? Now, the sun is in Capricorn until the 19th, and along with Mercury, the sun is also there, and the sun will also be opposing Mars in your sign. So there's a big push, and I think that first card speaks to it. There's a big push in Cancerian, especially the rising, to be done with the infighting, the drama, anything that's been left unsigned, or any arguments or disagreements or legal battles that have gone on, you know, seemingly too long. This is the month where you just decide that it's time for it to be over. You want your harmony, you want stability, you want to be able to communicate openly again. Whatever's been keeping you from that, whatever promises you've made, whether it's, you know, as serious as a legal battle or a promise you made or a friendship that's deteriorating or a romantic relationship that's deteriorating, that whatever's kept you from saying things how they are and making decisions that finalize endings, now is the perfect time to get to it and just be done with it. And anything that you're able to rid yourself of now, wonderful, wonderful news, it doesn't come back. So get rid of it. Let it go completely. And 2025 for you is also a year where you celebrate your endings, because they're endings that were shackles. You know, they were endings that were getting drawn out, and in the meantime you were just walking around in these chains. And the fact that these endings are now facilitated by your own hand, that you decide, you choose, and you choose for it to be over, oh, it's so satisfying. And you know, we're sensitive, delicate creatures. Even though we're covered in armor and have huge weapons, we're very sensitive. And it's the encouragement we need right now, that this is done at our pace, in our space, the way we want it to be done. Because otherwise endings can be quite devastating, not just for Cancerians, for everyone, but especially for Cancerians. You know, creature of the tide doesn't really understand endings. Endings seem really final. You know, the finality of an ending doesn't really jive with the fact that the tide never stops turning. So endings are particularly difficult for us. So to have it be with the, you know, flick of your own pen is really helpful. It's therapeutic. It heals us. It harmonizes life. And we start to feel a little bit of that resolution to the discord that was promised to us when Pluto shifted. Right? Now, the thing is, you can communicate openly not just about these endings, but you can communicate openly with anyone you would like to about a host of things. You can talk about whatever issue intimately that you may be having. You can talk to a partner who's skittish about talking about money, maybe insecure. So you can talk about any sexual issues you may have, financial issues you may have. You can bring up the idea of having children, or broach the subject of perhaps the way they're being parented isn't going quite right, right? You can talk about property. You can talk about putting your names on something together, or you feeling like your name should be on something. Anything that seems a bit too delicate to bring up on a Tuesday night, it's golden for you. Bring it up, talk about it. You have open doors all the way, and it can be done so amicably. You know, there's a very friendly air to this. You're not showing that trademark ambition when speaking about these things. You're just so relieved that the doors of communication open up and difficult conversations can be had easily. But you're not going to really feel that until you broach the subject and you see how smoothly it goes. So try it out, especially from now until the 28th. Speak on things. You can start slowly if you want, but once you notice that the other person is encouraging you and open to the conversation, keep going. Ask for what you want. Don't be shy. Okay? Be really honest about what you want. Also, if you're in a place, romantic place with someone where you feel really good about them and they feel really good about you, whether you're together long term or not, a really nice way to bond right now with someone, even with your friends and family, you know, if you're experiencing a loss, reminisce about the good things. Not the fairy tales you made up in your head about a toxic ex. I'm talking about people who are in your life right now, people who add to your life, love you, help you, respect you. Reminisce about the good times that you've had with them. Because there is, you know, this Jupiter and Gemini energy with Cancer right now, where you've got Jupiter right behind you, pushing up against your natal sun, Cancer sun, and in your 12th house, Cancer rising. So the past is screaming, especially as Jupiter is retrograde, it's screaming to be acknowledged. And the best way to do it honestly and in a way that doesn't hurt you, and in a way that's healthy for everyone, and actually it's conducive to deeper bonding with the people around you, is to reminisce about the really good times that you've had. It's a special time. It's cozy. It's like, it's somehow still the holidays for Cancer. It's very, very cozy. Now, one of the things you have to remember is that when the sun leaves Capricorn on the 19th and it starts to move into Aquarius, it will then bump right into Pluto, which is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it's just outside of that relationship sector, okay? Because we have the sun coming up against Pluto like this, this is a very opportune time for you when it comes to making a long-term commitment, or, like I said, signing something, making an agreement, selling something, signing the divorce paper, whatever you're doing. After a long, long time of uncertainty, nailing that down and signing the papers is the best thing that you can do for yourself. You will free yourself up for a future that is so much less chaotic, so much less hurtful, a lot more stable. Things are slowly going to become more and more of a sure thing. And I know that's really, it's a difficult thing to hear when it's just been tower moments left and right for so long. It's difficult to get used to the concept that things will get more and more calm, more and more stable. It feels diabolical and sadistic to introduce that concept to Cancerians right now because we're so shell-shocked. But things will continue incrementally to get easier. And you feel the somewhat disruptive beginnings of that harmony here in the very beginning of January. And as we get towards the end of January, your mental health becomes a lot more of a priority. Okay? So we'll talk about work and money, and we'll talk about mental health. But before we do that, just for your love life-o, I would like to do this movie tarot with you. This is not an ad. I don't know who these people are. A friend's daughter said that I should get them, so I got them. And we're just using the major arcana, and I think they're fun. It's all movie characters. So I thought it might be cute. I can read you the write-up. Let's see what movie character applies to our love lives right now. It's fun. I hope you guys get a kick out of this. I think it's so cute. I was saying in the Scorpio Extended that like some of the pictures are trash, but like the concept's really cute. Don't worry, we're not going to be doing this all the time. It's just like a little thing. I will say they take like their sweet time. Like you gotta shuffle forever. Hey, it's a lot of concepts to sort through. All right, what do we have here? This is the Wheel of Fortune. I think that's Doc, what's his name? From Back to the Future. Interesting. It's Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger as the lovers. And let me read you the little write-up, even though we know about the lovers card and we had just been talking about your love life, darling. But let me read to you out of the little insert book that comes with it, just because it is so cute, so cute. The lovers, Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal as Ennis Del Mar and Jack Twist in Brokeback Mountain. Love, attraction, virtue, compatibility, harmony, triumph over trials, choice, vacillation, intuitive decisions, union, entanglement, infidelity, moral lapse, vice, separation, quarrels, interference, inadequacy, failing tests. The lovers navigate between head and heart, feeling the pull of temptations and attractions. True love promises lasting fulfillment. False love makes you its slave. If we stray or falter, wise action may redeem us. Jack shares with Ennis the pain of their long-hidden love affair. The truth is, sometimes I miss you so much I can hardly stand it. Life lesson. Only we can make the right choices for ourselves, but we must live with the consequences. Ooh, I kind of love that for us. It really does fit with everything we were just talking about. And that's what I love about the Major Arcana. is that it's so, it says so much without saying anything. And then I love this. I love the bottom of the deck here being this Back to the Future card. I love this. What's underneath there? What's this one? Now I'm just being curious. Justice. Oh, cool. It's Clint Eastwood. That's cool. But I love this being the doc from Back to the Future because we are having a Back to the Future moment. And when you watch Back to the Future, if you've ever seen it, there are moments when you get really frustrated with Marty because he's in the past and he's focusing on the wrong things. And he has a limited amount of time and he's just fucking around. And you're like, Marty, focus. We're Marty. And we need to focus. Our little dip into the past here is Jupiter fueled and Mars run. And it's easy to feel like you're the one getting taken for the ride and that you have no agency in how you feel. It's easy to go way up and way down and hate what you see in the mirror and blame your past on yourself and your shortcomings and make everybody else look like the hero. It's easy to do that right now. Don't do that. None of that is true. You look amazing. You should drink more water, but so should everybody. If you don't like what's going on, start eating more fruit. Stop talking to people who aren't nice to you. Stop talking to people that you found out haven't been nice to you behind your back. Stop expecting niceness from yourself and stop expecting grace from yourself for people who have done nothing for you except wronged you. And I leave you with this, and this is what we'll get into starting in the extended, because we're still going to be talking about love in the extended. Your attractiveness will never change who they are. How you look will never, ever change who they've always been. And it is a punishment to yourself to conflate those two things. If they loved me enough, if they thought I was beautiful enough, these things are synonymous in our heads, they would do this and this. Well, no, they wouldn't. Because they're going to do things according to who they are. And the way you look was never going to change who they are. So whatever you may remember about whatever happened back then, remember to put yourself in the center of that story as the bright, burning heart of that universe. Because no matter what happened back then, it had nothing to do with you. And it had nothing to do with the way you look. You were just as amazing then as you are now. But it will never mean enough, and it will never translate in the real world into things you can hold in your hand and money you can put in your bank until you believe it. And the way to believe it is to let people be responsible for their own past. You be responsible for yours. And let yourself be emotional. Venus is in Pisces. Things get very dreamy. And as long as you stay the central main character, the hero, dare I say, in your story, doesn't matter if you're talking about the past or the future or the present. you're on the right track. Stay in that zone. If you can stay in that zone all year, the winds just get lined up for you. The universe will line them up, and all you got to do is knock them down. Main character. That's what main characters do. Right? All right. Let's talk more about this concept of attraction in the extended, and then we have a bunch of notes about work and money. You'll need paper and pen for that, or make notes in your phone for that. We have some important dates to talk about, and then we'll talk about physical and mental health as well, okay? I loves you. See you in the extended. All the links are below, including personal readings.